Hey everybody, this is Mike, and today's video is about the depowering of Wonder Woman. So, most people today know who Wonder Woman is and recognize her as a symbol of the most powerful or the most well-known female comic book superhero. And we've all seen her portrayed by Gal Gadot in film in recent years, and we're very familiar with the strong female empowerment image of Wonder Woman. What you may not have heard, though, is there was a time in history when Wonder Woman was completely depowered. On the screen you see the cover of Wonder Woman number 178 from 1968. And at that time, the creative team had been getting bored with the concept of the character, and they decided they wanted to shake things up and do something different. They wanted to reach a new, young, hip audience. And so they developed a storyline where the Amazons of Themyscira have decided to leave Earth entirely, being fed up with man's world. And Diana chooses to stay, and when she does, they strip her of her powers. And so what happens to a Wonder Woman when she's not Wonder Woman anymore? Or is she still Wonder Woman? And what happens when you take the powers away from Diana Prince? And so what the storyline explores is that she becomes the owner of a very high-end fashion boutique in New York, as well as a private investigator. And when she's on her private investigating duties, she begins to wear a white jumpsuit, and she's trained by a martial arts master by the name of I Ching. So I Ching trains Diana Prince to be a martial arts master, and soon she becomes a private investigator. It doesn't take long for them to remove Steve Trevor from the equation again. And as well, they figured out that the fashion shop storyline didn't really have much to go on, and they focused on her private detective stories, and I believe she even became a secret agent. So she was kind of like a DC Comics version of a SHIELD agent, but she was kind of a solo operator. Now, this change lasted for several years, from 68 to 73, and it had mixed responses. Now, some people didn't like it, some people did, but it was something that they thought would help update the character. And I just wanted to say that even though people still sort of criticize the idea today when they talk about it and they talk about what happened, I really do believe that the creative team was trying to find a way that the average female reader could relate more to Wonder Woman. And I think what they were trying to do was show that any woman could be Wonder Woman and that you didn't have to have superpowers. But pretty soon public perception sort of swayed. And that was because, of course, the whole time this is going on in comics, in the rest of society we've got the sexual liberation and the female rights movement happening. And so when Wonder Woman made the cover of Miss Magazine, the general population outside of comics fans started to pay attention to what was going on with the characters. And when it came out in the media that a male creative team had taken away the powers of Wonder Woman, it was perceived as if they were taking away power, and women wanted power at that time. And they were saying that we're taking our power back. And so very, very quickly, especially with some pressure from Gloria Steinem, who actually started a campaign against the changes to Wonder Woman, convinced the company that they needed to return Wonder Woman to the way she was. Now, I want to add my 2 cents to this, and that is that I actually have a really, really favorite story featuring the depowered Diana Prince. There's a depowered Wonder Woman, and it's from Justice League of America number 102, and it's reprinted in the Crisis on Multiple Earths Volume 3 collection. And it's the conclusion of a multi-part story, and spoiler alert, but I really believe if you read this, that what I'm going to tell you is not going to really spoil it for you. But what happens is a multi-part story where this big cosmic bad guy that's hiding in the shadows forces the Justice League, Justice Society, and some other characters from different realities in the DC universe to spread out among different time and space locations to recover enchanted items and lost heroes and bring them back to stop this bad guy. Now, because Wonder Woman is depowered at the time, they leave her behind at the Justice Society headquarters. And she's basically told to keep an eye on the place and make sure nothing happens, while everyone else who still has their superpowers goes out and goes on this huge, massive, epic, cosmic, time-traveling quest. So by the time the story concludes, our big bad guy has penetrated the defenses of the Justice Society headquarters and is sneaking in, and the heroes have gathered all of their items and people, and they're not back at the headquarters yet. So it seems to be setting everything up for that stereotypical storyline where they're going to take the woman hostage, and in this case it's Diana Prince, the depowered Wonder Woman, and it really sets it up to look like it's going to be that cliched stereotype story where the bad guy captures a damsel in distress and the heroes who thought their job was done have to go rescue their friend. And what I really liked was there's a span of only about 3 panels, it's half a page, where Diana Prince totally turns the tables and, using nothing but her martial arts skills, totally takes out the big bad guy that has been making all of these major superheroes run around and go on this ridiculous quest. And instead of it continuing and thinking it's going to lead into another issue where they have to rescue her, all of the heroes arrive back at the headquarters in time to see that the villain has been subdued by Diana, and that's the end of the story. And I love that subversiveness. I love that comic books will often subvert your expectations like that. And I love that even back then, we're talking, late 60s, early 70s, that people were, that conscious of female empowerment that they would make a twist like that and not go with the cliched stereotype type of storylines that we still see in a lot of media today. So that's what I wanted to point out. Now, of course, after many years, people have begun to accept this period in history, and so DC has even recently had storylines that visited alternate realities that explored what if Diana had never gotten her powers back. And as I mentioned before, she's essentially like a SHIELD agent. She's a secret agent with martial arts expertise and weapons expertise, but no Amazon powers. And so that is an alternate version of Wonder Woman that exists somewhere in the DC universe. But in mainstream comics, and for the most part, what we recognize as Wonder Woman came back to what we would consider normal in 1973, after Gloria Steinem had started a media campaign against the depowering of Wonder Woman, and DC decided to give her her powers back and return her to the version that we all are familiar with today. For more details on this article, for a more detailed article on the subject, written by Rohit Chauhan, visit www.alldaybreakfast.foundation. Wonder Woman and cover art, trademark and copyright Warner Media, DC Comics. Theme song, Warrior Spirit. This video references the work of such writers and artists as Dennis O'Neil, Mike Sikowski, Dick Giordano, Jack Miller, and Carmine Infantino. Narration, background art, CGI renders, and animation by Mike Gagno. Copyright M. Gagno 2021. Find out more about the books, characters, and creators mentioned in this video by asking about them at your nearest comic shop or local public library. And this is a reminder, this video is produced for the All Day Breakfast Foundation. We take comics and media and animation and we use them to raise awareness of social issues and also raise money for charities that support providing food, water, and shelter to struggling communities. So please check us out at alldaybreakfast.foundation and join the fight. If you like the video and you want to see more, make sure you let us know. Thank you very much. We'll see you again.